Welcome to another episode of the Dietitian Stable. I'm your host, Joy, a registered dietitian, and today I'm sitting down with Genevieve. Let's dive into it. Hi, Genevieve.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you in our studio.
Thanks for having me.
How's everything going with you?
Pretty good. Yeah, work's pretty busy, doing a lot of drawings.
Tell me more about what you do.
I draw portrait characters for like weddings and different events. So I have to do work today where I'm going to draw a couple, and then it's for a wedding on Thursday.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And do you draw just weddings or any type of event?
Any type of event. Yeah, it stays pretty busy, especially on the weekends.
I'm sure. That's where all the events happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So do you usually, is it something that guests request where they want to be, is it like a regular drawing? What is it specifically?
So I do a couple things. The weddings things, the guests usually want like a really nice portrait of themselves to be displayed. And so that's done ahead of time. But I'll also show up at certain events like corporate events or employee appreciation and just like run around and draw like the employees and the event guests. And I just give them the drawing as the event's going on and they just flip out because it's such a fun thing.
During the event?
Yeah, I'm like hiding behind pillars and like drawing them. Or they have me in one place, stationary. But it's up to the event coordinators.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So I'm just imagining the scene like you hiding behind the plant and then just drawing someone.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And the guests don't know that you're drawing them.
Usually not, no.
Okay.
It's a surprise. It's like a performance.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I would be so happy if I get my drawing and I'm like, oh, wow, how did you know?
Totally.
And how long have you been doing this?
Since about 2008,
Okay.
I started doing the drawing thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been changing a lot over the years. It's gotten really popular lately. So I've been pretty busy.
I'm sure, yeah. It's more, especially if you're saying it's like an entertainment piece, part of it, so it becomes part of the whole event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally like magic. It's like having a magician, which is good.
Yes. And at least the guests can leave with something, depending on what the event is, but just having something to leave after the event. And it's something that's personal.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. That's so fun. Is it mainly during the day or you have sometimes nights?
It's either afternoons or evenings usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love working evenings because then I don't have to do as much like parental bedtime responsibilities. So, my kid's dad gets to do the bedtime and I get to go out and have fun and work and stuff.
So he does the difficult stuff.
Yes, sometimes we
making
part-time
sure that, they're fed and showered.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's very stressful sometimes.
Yeah. The last 2 hours before bedtime is like, oof.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's chaos.
And you're like, I'm so sorry, I have to work. Good luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So it works out actually for you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a break sometimes. So
Yes.
taking turns and dividing that labor is so important and so hard to negotiate.
Taking turn, as long as you're in a partnership and you feel supported and you're supporting your partner, that's how it works, even though it's hard.
Yeah, and it's ongoing communication
Yeah.
and ongoing like negotiation, and it changes over time too.
And for sure.
Yeah.
And how many kids do you have?
I have one and a part-time. I live in a big community with a bunch of other friends, and there's another kid also, but I'm not so much in charge of his like meals and responsibilities like that. It's mostly just me and my 9-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
9?
Yeah, it's such a good age. So fun. She's so fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like 9 is, they're not kids anymore, but also they're not teenagers yet. So it's a
Right.
good spot.
They're still mostly nice, but the challenges are different. Like there's these moments of emotional reactivity, but they're like, you can handle them with like logic.
Yes.
And you can slowly talk them down and be like, let's talk about our feelings. And then once you get to that point, you can talk about why they were upset to begin with, and then really like break it down into this like psychology. I mean, it gets less manipulative, than when they're really young and they're just trying to power struggle you, a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that communication phase where, they can really grasp information and understand consequences and different things, and also understand their feelings, because sometimes they don't know how to
They don't even know what they're feeling.
Yeah,
sometimes. You don't want to tell them what they're feeling in like a condescending way, especially when they're really young. They get really mad.
Yeah. They just have so many emotions and it's hard for them to express it. It's really, I always try to put things into perspective with my own kids, like he's frustrated. He can't tell me if he's frustrated or angry. Or maybe he's sad, or maybe, so there's so many different feelings that he may be feeling, but he just doesn't know how to differentiate and all those nuanced feelings.
Right.
So he just gets upset.
Yeah, totally. It's hard to process.
Yeah.
But it's exciting the older age, because you watch them process it and they get better and better at pushing through it. And then you just feel this intense relief of being able to process that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel like you did well as a mom.
Totally.
That's exciting. Well, now that we got a little bit to know you, let's dive into the reason why you're here and more about your nutrition. So I know that you've been vegan for more than 20 years.
Yes.
So, and you have a kid.
Yes.
So how's that been going for you?
So in the beginning, I wasn't entirely sure how it would go. There's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of myths. And I was kind of worried about it. So I talked to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician was like, well, it's fine. It's totally, you'll be able to get everything you need. But I did go and see a registered dietitian through all the stages just to make sure everything was accounted for, make sure I was doing it right. Because during pregnancy, I was counting my own needs. And throughout my life, I've been taking care of what I need, getting my blood panels done, my lipid panels, to make sure everything's handled. But children are a big deal. You don't want to be that parent that accidentally messes them up in their development. The consequences are very real. So the dietitian was mostly concerned about fats, which lipids, and about vitamin D, which it's not that hard to get those things, especially with kids' foods that we tend to buy a lot. It's just you just get used to buying things that already have those nutrients in them. We eat a lot of lentils. We eat a lot of tofu burritos.
Yeah.
When my kid was little, she would just eat tofu raw, and it was the weirdest thing, but it was normal for her. They would also eat toddler pickup foods. I see other parents giving their kids all sorts of stuff, but plant-based kids get used to eating things like raw kale and black beans, which is really kind of freaky for us as adults when we see it, but they don't know what normal is. We decide what normal is, and if it's within the realm of the nutrition requirements, then we're doing a good job.
True.
True. And they don't actually know what's weird about their diet until they're older. My kid's only now figuring out that other kids at school don't have waffles that have been cooked with pureed lentils in them. I go out in the yard in the morning, and I take kale off of a plant, and I roll it up and I slice it so thin, and then I turn it sideways and slice it again until it's confetti small pieces of kale, and I'm putting it in the waffle batter. Legit, my kid's eating lentil kale waffles for breakfast, and I put it in a bowl with soy milk around it like it's cereal, and then I throw some agave syrup and some canola oil on top, because that's what the nutritionist said. I do invest in algae oil, but the nutritionist was telling me that the cheapest, most effective way to boost your child's lipids is coconut oil or canola oil. And at the end of the day, you just want to watch those omega-3s, 6s, and 9s to make sure. So I just got used to adding all this fat to my kids' food, and the blood tests come back good.
And they look, and they like it.
And they like it. She'll eat 5 of these things in the morning. And her growth's been right in the middle of average. So that's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah.
And for our audience, if you are enjoying the conversation so far and you would like to learn more, please don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you want to be a guest on the show and talk about your nutrition journey, please apply on the dietitianstable.com/apply, and I would love to come to talk to you. So let's go back to that, I like how you mentioned because she is growing in this environment. She only knows waffles made with lentils and kale. And for her, this is normal. And she sees everyone at home eating that. Mm-hmm. And then now at 9, she is more aware. Mm-hmm. She's starting to see her friends eat different things, or maybe going to play dates and seeing her friends eat different things at home, at their home, has that affected the way that she sees food? Or maybe has she tried something that she would not normally have?
Yes. So we've been at playgrounds before, and other kids will offer her food, and she's got a really healthy appetite and a really good relationship with food, and she'll just take the things and eat them. And sometimes it's caused problems because, female mammals specifically, we lactate, and our babies produce lactase to like digest this protein, and kids that wean don't keep producing it. So by being a plant-based family, we have by default created a lactose intolerant child. And so sometimes she'll have dairy yogurt and it will just destroy her physically, And so we have this conversation that has to come up to be like, okay, so we have our own types of yogurt that we eat, like our coconut yogurt, our soy yogurt, we get them from the store. They're the same as the other yogurts, except if you eat them, your body's not going to be able to process this protein, and then it's going to cause you discomfort. And she's at an age where she understands the physics, physiology behind it. And she's able to be like, oh, no, thanks, I'm lactose intolerant. Aww. But it has me feeling, that feeling oh man, is that a bad thing? Because yogurt isn't necessarily bad. There's nutrients in yogurt.
What happens when she eats it? Because you did say this, say discomfort.
Yes, bloating, bloating and diarrhea and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a real physical discomfort for them that isn't necessarily a normal thing to feel as a kid. And she's like, am I sick? Did I get the flu? And I'm like, maybe, but also there's this other thing that happened, and let's talk about how food affects us, risks of food, and it's hard to navigate because I know we're in the almost preteen years, and I don't want food to be scary.
Yes.
And that's a real big deal because, there's neighbor kids that every time the ice cream paletero comes by, they're getting spicy hot, Cheetos and those tosti locos and all this delicious foods that will cause stomach upset and all these risks. But it's okay to eat unhealthy food every once in a while.
Yeah.
So making sure that food isn't scary is also a challenge that I'm navigating.
And how's that been so far, trying to talk about food openly and being more inclusive of different types of food?
I think it's working because the other day she went out with her dad and ordered French fries and then reported back that her stomach hurt afterwards. And I was like, okay, well, I can relate to that. Sometimes I have tons of French fries and my stomach's totally hurting because fried food sometimes does that. But the fries were delicious, right? It's kind of a realistic conversation we have to have.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's sensitive at this point because orthorexia, you don't want the kid to be afraid of unhealthy foods to the point where they're not eating enough in general.
Yes.
And that's a real serious fear.
Yeah.
And a concern.
So for our listeners, in case someone doesn't know what orthorexia means, orthorexia is an actual eating disorder where the person only eats clean, healthy foods. They don't put anything that is considered, in their opinion, unhealthy or considered bad. And this is a eating disorder because you want to eat healthy so badly that you are not able to tolerate moderation. You are not able to accept any other food unless you deem it clean. And this is an extreme case. It is an eating disorder. It is accompanied with body dysmorphia and issues with body image and weight, wanting to control our weight. So yes, I understand that it's a legitimate fear, especially as a mom, that you don't want you want the best for your child and you want them to eat nutritious food, but you don't want it to become an issue where they can't eat anything else and then that becomes another issue.
Right. Especially right now with the movie Wicked. And the 1990s had a really bad problem with normalized anorexia, and it's coming back. And I'm an older parent. My pregnancy was less than a year away from being a geriatric pregnancy, which is 35. And I lived through the 90s, and I had friends that had severe anorexic problems, and they're still suffering. It's a lifelong problem that can develop really early. So when I see, people obsessing over things like calories and not really meeting their nutritional requirements because they're so worried about their body image, it tears me apart. And I'm super aware of that and super concerned. So I'm trying to navigate this interesting dynamic between, I'm going to hide all these nutrients in my kid's food. we're going to be eating these like hardcore burritos, and I'm like cutting open algae oil capsules and dripping them over the burritos and mixing them in really good with hot sauce so they don't taste the like fishy algae flavor,
Yeah.
you know? And it's working for us. All the greens I'm putting into their food, it's working for us. But at the same time, is that better than putting a salad next to your kid's burrito? Like visually seeing a representation of healthy fiber diet like mixed in?
You will need to be more specific about your question.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you are mixing some algae and just making sure that they get those nutrients and iodine and some nutrients that may be missing from a vegan diet. And you're saying, is that better than having a visual plate of a salad?
Well, right. Because like, so I'm taking all these like healthy foods and mixing them into my child's foods, like in a sense, kind of hiding these healthy additions. And I do bring my kid in to be like, oh, let's make food together. I'm trying to teach them because I was a vegan chef in 3 different restaurants, like in my 20s and 30s and stuff. And it's, there's a lot of tricks you can do. You know, you can make some nut pates with walnuts. You can turn them into like a paste and you can add them to all sorts of things. But if you're not actively teaching a kid how to cook for themselves and it's not a big part of your everyday conversations, is the kid going to do that when they get to be in their 20s, when they move out and they're in college? Probably not. So is it better to sit down with the kid and be like, here's the salad that you're supposed to eat for fiber instead of hiding all this fiber in like your food? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean right now. Yes, I know what you mean. And that makes sense because when you have a chef's background, so you're so used to adding those nutrients in the food and then making it palatable and also, you know, visually appealing. I think you want to find a good middle ground because some things you want to be adding like canola oil or, you know, different types of seeds and nuts. Those can be hidden in food. And also you want to add something that is more, I don't want to say normal, but something that they're going to encounter in their day-to-day life when they go out with their friends, like just having a side of salad with their food, you know. So you can do both. You can still add those nutrition when you're making waffles,
right? And
you can just have a plain lentil soup,
right?
You know, so it can be both. It doesn't have to be either this or that. And then definitely including the kids in the cooking process.
It's essential.
Yes, that makes a big difference because that becomes part of the fun and part of a family activity that you're making together.
Yes.
So it strengthens your bonds. It helps create memories, even though it's going to be messy.
It's very messy. But you're supposed to be teaching them to clean up anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and as stressful as that is, it's kind of our job.
Yeah. And it's going to be longer. Let's say it takes you 20 minutes to prep. It's going to take you an hour to prep.
You just got to accept this part of the cost of raising a kid.
Yeah.
You know, is the stress of cleaning up afterwards. We like to make flatbread together. When you mentioned lentil soup, we love that. There's this pea porridge hot, pea porridge cold, pea porridge in this pot 9 days old kind of rhyme. And we read that when we were little and she's like, what's pea porridge? And I'm like, oh girl, let's go make some pea porridge. And it's just like, it's a food of poverty. And it always has been because, you know, peas are just so cheap, you know, and we'll buy the peas from the dollar store and make this delicious, amazing pot of pea soup.
Yeah.
And then we'll make flatbread together with it. And she loves it. And it's like the cheapest, most ridiculously easy meal. But making it together is a huge part of that.
Yeah, and I think again when you do make it together, it becomes less of a chore. So even though you are not going to be cooking consistently with her, but just having it as part of something fun and a teaching moment as well, because they're going to learn how to make flatbread and it's super fun.
It is.
When they're going to be in their 20s, they will be able to take care of themselves, and cooking is not going to be a chore or something that's going to take away from their time and that's going to be, you know, cumbersome for them because they have the skills and hopefully they're going to be good memories of the time with their parents, you know, so they'll be more inclined to cook on their own as they grow.
Yes.
So let's go back to your background as a chef. Because you mentioned that you were a chef.
Yes.
A vegan chef.
Yes.
So I want to know how you learned, and I'm very curious about that part.
Yes. I started working at a vegan restaurant in like the Balboa Park area. And it was with a bunch of other 20-somethings. And they had a raw foods area. They had a bakery kind of area. And then they had the general savory food, stews and pot pies and all that. And what they would do is they would order this like fake meat stuff and mix together these delicious concoctions. And all the business people and bakers in the area would come and get their lunches. And the interesting part about working there is that the raw foods chef, they kept having all these like workshops to teach us how to make different things. And the raw foods chef was really, really huge on mixing fructose with dense amino acids. So like, you know, your apples and peanut butter, your nuts, and like just being mindful of what you're adding to the fruit and combining them together. And she was huge on the slow oxidizing food kind of idea. She's like, if you mix these two together, it gives you a slow oxidizing fuel that your body can use for a long time. Excuse me. And it's been genius for me as a parent, because when I pick up my kid from school and they're just so hungry, you know, like I have to plan ahead, be like, all right, we're going to have breakfast, snack, and lunch, and that's all going to school. And then as soon as they get home, they're getting snack and dinner, and then maybe snack before brushing teeth, because that's how kids are. I have to really plan this stuff and be like, am I just going to offer peanut butter and apples? Because that works. But you can also do things like take rice to make like a sushi, and then you can like mash up some nuts or whatever and then hide it with soy sauce and then put that under the sushi rice when you're making these little rolls. And it just adds more things, you know, and that's all from the raw foods people.
That's amazing that you learned all those skills.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's been easier having that chef background to implement all those things with your kid.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, even like the pot pie itself, like that rest, I've been making these pot pies over and over again. And you can just wake up in the morning and grab some whole wheat flour and just splash some water and make like some you don't have to do a good job. You just have to make it into a dough-ish thing and just sprinkle, you know, seasonings, and then put some like, you know, potatoes and peas. And there's this stuff called TVP. Do you know what that is? TVP, textured vegetable protein.
Yes.
My grandma used to use it because she's a depression person, like depression era. She said she used to cut her chili with it. She would go to the store and buy half real meat because it's expensive, and then cut it with half fake meat, and it would stretch it out for all the kids. And I go to the store, and it's in the carnicerias, in the Mexican food spot of the back of the restaurants or the markets. And then you soak it in liquid, and then you cook it in your chilies or, you know, your stews or whatever, in pot pies. It can go in pot pie to be like fake chicken if you're trying to avoid chicken or for whatever reason.
Yes, I like that. And I just want to say that it's really cool that you are just, you know, you have all this background from, you know, being from the 90s and trying to, we'll talk about this poverty food that you mentioned, and just trying to be financially aware of what you're buying, and, you know, and making sure that you're buying quality food, but still, you know, at a good price, because you have a family to feed, like your grandma.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and also trying to be innovative and trying different things with your kids. So that's really cool that you're able to combine both things.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your kid has been most of the time liking the foods, or do you feel like some combinations that you try and then you just prepare and add the nuts and add the rice, and then your kid's like, you know what? I don't really like that. Has that happened?
Say that. It happens. Yeah. Of course, it always happens. And, you know, when that does happen, you have an option, right? Like, and this is like the classic debate. You're like, either eat the food, I spent an hour on this thing, or you're like, okay, well, let's look and see what we can have that you can eat. And honestly, like, that part's up to you. At the end of the day, you don't want to make it an issue that's going to cause, you know, power struggles. The pediatrician told us that if the kid, and this was younger when I wasn't as adventurously experimenting with packing in as much stuff. But when they were littler, the pediatrician was just like, don't make food a battleground. If you prepare a meal for everybody and it's obviously delicious and everybody's eating it and the kid says, no, that's okay. They said that neurotypical kids won't starve themselves. And what you do is you take the plate, you're like, okay, well, I'll show you where the food goes. The food is here when you're hungry. And if it turns into a tantrum, a power struggle tantrum, that's okay. But in my experience, when that did happen, they would come running back down the hall 15 minutes later and be like, where's the plate? And, that's different. Neurodivergent kids are totally different.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different situation.
For sure.
But yeah, you can go too far. You can go a little bit too weird. There's one dish that I've experimented with that has been hit or miss, and that is Alfredo dishes.
Okay.
Because at some vegan restaurants, they do this like cashew Alfredo sauce.
It changes the taste.
It has a different taste, different texture. My kid's favorite dish is actually like a fettuccine Alfredo kind of thing. But if you make the sauce wrong, it's not as good, and it's kind of tricky to get all the flavorings right. It has to have enough fat, it has to have enough salt, and that can be a struggle if you spend 45 minutes trying to follow a recipe and have it totally flop.
Yes, sure.
Taco Bell's around. Like, there's no shame in being like, all right, I'm going to eat this all to myself. But then that's also like, potentially not a good path to be going down all the time.
Yeah, but again, balance, balancing everything, and balancing and everything is okay.
Yeah, and it's okay to laugh about it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I tried this. Oh, whoops, we accidentally dumped way too much liquid smoke flavor into this dish. It's a total mess. That happens to chefs all the time.
That happens, yeah. Well, I feel like you're doing a great job, and trying to make sure that your daughter is getting all those nutritious food, and also being okay with including different things, and feed her understanding how she's feeling and how food makes her feel. So that's amazing.
It's huge.
For sure.
Yeah.
And going back to those poverty foods, because I can't stress this enough, not because a food is not expensive or low cost, that it's not good for you. So beans and lentils and all the legumes, they're on the cheaper side, and you can buy them at grocery stores technically for cheaper than other products, and they are very nutritious. They're high in fiber, they're high in, they give you so much nutrients and energy, and they fuel your body, and we want to include those. So
we do that all the time. The cheapest foods that we buy are the legumes.
Yeah.
The beans and greens are pretty core in our house, and we grow all of our greens. So most of my grocery budget is things like broccoli, because we're not growing it this year, and legumes. It's mostly legumes and whole grains, but like you buy them at liquor stores.
Sure.
But you have to be careful. If you live in some neighborhoods, there's like grain moths. And poverty foods come with poverty problems, which include things like grain moths. And so you have to I've heard people say that if you live in a food desert or whatnot, and you're buying your legumes and grains from like liquor stores, to take these bags and put them in the freezer overnight before you stash them with the rest of your foods. And as wild and outrageous as that sounds, like, we're living in these times where we have to think about real problems that are ancient problems, but they're real life in a lot of American households.
they're coming back.
They're coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of just navigating this.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and we learned so much today especially about you being a chef and also a mom, and then mixing both together. That's really cool.
Yes, thanks for
having me. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
And for our guests, please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can go on our website, thedietitianstable.com/apply, and I would love to talk to you about your nutrition journey. Thank you again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
The Dietitian's Table podcast is an independent production of the Dietitian's Table, LLC. Our co-founder and host is Joy Corey, MS, RD, CNSC. Our co-founder and CEO is Sam Sabaga. Our creative director and executive producer is me, Siri Khan. Content of the Dietitian's Table is for informational purposes only and is not intended as individual medical advice. For specific dietary or medical concerns, please reach out to your primary care